Very good evening to all of you. Today topic is assessment and audit. Now we are moving to the advanced GST, we can say. So first we will cover the assessment related provisions and then we'll move to the audit. See, what is the meaning of assessment? Assessment means determining the tax liability. Under this act include self-assessment, reassessment, provisional assessment, summary assessment, and best judgment assessment. We are going to discuss multiple type of the assessment. Let me move to the first, the provision section 59 self-assessment. What is the meaning of self-assessment? Every person registered under this act shall himself assess the tax payable by him for a tax period. After such self-assessment, he shall file the return required under section 39. Meaning thereby that if I am a registered person, I will assess my tax liability at my own. Then I will report the same in, like if I'm a regular taxpayer, then I will file the same, the GSTR 3B. The section 39 return in which I will calculate myself what is the tax liability, what is the liability and the reverse charge, what is the total input tax credit, what is the interest, etc. I have to put the same and then file. Once I will file, then it is called as a self-assessment. Section 59. Now the provisional assessment. Normally, by the word assessment, it appear that it will be initiated or it will be carried out by the proper officer. But provisional assessment is a mechanism by which taxable person can make a request to the proper officer that kindly do my provisional assessment only in two cases. What are the two cases? If the taxable person is not able to determine the value because of any reason. Also, or he is unable to determine the rate of the taxes. He can make a request to the proper officer for provisional assessment. And once the provisional assessment will be completed, so when I will file the application for the provisional assessment, then they will inquire me. They will ask me some more document in order to provide the order for the provisional assessment. So they will issue the notice, I will give the reply, and finally they will give the order. By saying that this would be the value or this would be the rate of taxes. The word provisional itself indicate that whatever the assessment is being done, that is on the provisional basis. It means that is not the final. At the time of the final assessment, the value or the rate can be different. By the officer itself, it is being determined by the proper officer. But the final assessment, the value or the rate can be different. And as a reason, when we are making the request for the provisional assessment and they are giving the order, I have to give the bond or security in the form of security. Why? Because if the final assessment, the value or the rate is increased, then I have to pay the additional taxes. So the officer or the government can recover the amount from the bond or security. That is the summary, or that is the crux of the provisional assessment. Let me read the provision for the benefit of all the participants. The provisional assessment provide the method for determining the tax liability in case the taxable person is unable to determine the value or unable to determine the rate. So there is two major problem with the taxable person, and therefore he can request for the provisional assessment. There might be the situation when these two might not be deliberation and time. Thus, where the taxable person is unable to determine the value or the rate, he may furnish an application in the prescribed form stating that the reason for the payment of taxes on a provisional basis, along with the document in support of his request, electronically through the common portal. The proper officer, on receipt of the application, he will issue the notice to me for requiring the registered person to furnish the additional document. Then I will give the additional document. And also the personal hearing can be desired. Then finally, officer will issue the order within a period of maximum 90 days. So what is the time limit of the provisional assessment order? The time limit of the provisional assessment order is 90 days, not more than 90 days. From the date of the receipt of such a request, which I will made, allowing payment of the taxes on provisional basis, indicating the value or the rate. Okay. The amount, and please note, the amount for which the bond is to be executed and security to be furnished. The value of the security, 25% of the amount covered in the bond. What is the furnishing of the bond and security? Let me discuss bit in detail. That the payment of tax on provisional basis may be allowed if the taxable person execute the bond. The bond is a document whereby the taxable person bind himself, agree to pay the differential tax, if any, payable on the finalization of the provisional assessment. The security is required to be furnished in the form of bank guarantee. So the first bond and security would be in the form of bank guarantee. But what would be the amount? Subject to the 25% of the amount covered under the bond. In order to save the taxpayer from the requirement of submitting separate bond for different taxes, the GST law provides that the bond furnished to the proper officer shall be deemed to be the bond furnished under the provision of other act. So if he is submitting the bond under CGST for payment of the taxes, it will be deemed that he has furnished the bond under SGST, IGST, UTGST, as the case may be. Amount shall include every taxes and cess. Finalization of the provisional assessment. Now we have completed the provisional assessment. Now the case which has been provisionally assessed and for which the officer has given the order not later than 90 days. Now those cases would be picked for the final assessment. Here we are not talking about every case. Here we are talking about the finalization of which assessment? The assessment which is being done in the provisionally. Now we are moving to the finalize the provisional assessment. So you can say earlier upper wala, that is a part A, and now it is a part B. The time limit. Video is unclear. I am unable to read the word. Whether any other participant is facing the problem, because I am able to see the YouTube, it is clear, and also requesting everyone, other participant, please confirm the video is clear, by which you are able to read the word or not. जितने भी participant हैं, requesting everyone to confirm. Requesting everyone to confirm. Viraj has asked the question, has raised the concern that he is unable to read. whether this problem is for everyone. Pradeep is saying that yes, it is clear. Mansa is saying video is clear. So Viraj, could you please check at your end? Once I request that kindly check at your end. So probably it is clear. Short of, okay. Shivam is also saying, should I increase the size? 1 second. So I have slightly increased the, I can say, view size. Now it would be more clear, probably. Let me move. If you are getting the same problem, please let me know. Viraj and Shivam. The final assessment is of the provisional assessment order. Now, the final assessment would be within 6 months from the date of the communication of the order, the provisional assessment. So, date of the application for the provisional assessment. Now, what is the time limit of the provisional assessment? Not later than 90 days. This is the order for the provisional assessment. Okay. From here, within 6 months, they will pick and they will finalize the provisional assessment order. Yes, sir. Now clear. Thank you, Shiva. No, Viraj. Everyone is saying that on the BOS ICI portal, the video is also clear. They are not talking about the YouTube. Now, within 6 months, the provisional assessment, the order for which the provisional assessment order from that date, within 6 months, the officer has to pass the final assessment order. However, this period of 6 months can be again extended by 6 more months, by the additional or the joint commissioner. Kaushik is also saying it is visible. So I hope now there is no issue. So initial 6 months, it can be again extended for 6 more months with the approval of the joint or additional commissioner, and by 4 years by the commissioner. So it means 6 months plus 6 months plus 4 years. Now, what would be the process to finalize the provisional assessment order? Obviously, the officer will issue the notice for asking the information and record, which I have to furnish the same. And then based on that, he will issue the final assessment order. Specify the amount payable by the person or the amount refundable. Now, why the amount refundable would come into the picture? Because the value or the rate has already been decided and of which I have paid the taxes. Now, let's say the finalization, the value is being reduced or the rate of the taxes has been reduced. It finalized that rate of the taxes was actually lesser than which has been provisionally assessed. In that case, what happened? The value or the rate which has been reduced, now I will eligible for the refund. Now, where the tax liability as per the final assessment is higher than the provisional assessment, obviously the tax become due. Because of that order of the final assessment, the registered person, in addition to the differential tax payable, he shall also liable to pay the interest under section 50 subsection 1 from the date of the taxes become due and till the date of the actual payment. In simple words, if the tax become payable, then interest at the specified rate will also be payable. Can anybody tell me what is the interest rate? Please tell me what is the interest rate. What is the interest rate under section 50 subsection 1? Please tell me the rate of interest, and also please tell me, do I need to pay the interest on the gross value or on the net value which I am paying from cash ledger? Please tell me, should I pay the interest on the gross value or should I have to pay the same by utilizing the amount lying in the cash ledger? Requesting everyone to give the answer. So interest part is clear. The right answer is 18%. Absolutely correct. Now, where the tax liability as per the final assessment is lower than the provisional assessment, tax become refundable consequent to the order of the final assessment. The registered person shall be paid interest at the rate of the registered person shall be paid interest at the rate specified under Section 56 for any period exceeding 60 days from the date of the receipt of the application moved in accordance with the provision of Section 54 subsection 1 till the date of the refund of that taxes. What is the meaning? Meaning thereby, from the date of the order, that now this is the final assessment order and it is being finalized that yes, I need to get the refund. I have to file the refund application RFD1, which we have discussed in the last class. And from the date of the application, if refund is being granted within 60 days, no problem, no interest. If the refund is not being granted, then the interest would be payable at the rate of 6% or 9% as the case may be, which we have already discussed in the refund chapter. Now, but important note, subject to the unjust enrichment. That condition would always prevail. Remember, see, for example, I have paid the taxes at a higher rate, but I have collected from customer and then make the payment. It means I am not entitled to take the refund of additional or interest or of taxes because I have passed the incidence of the tax to the recipient. See, once I collect the tax from the customer, it means I have passed the incidence of the tax to the buyer. I am not eligible for the refund because it is unjust enrichment. I hope it is clear. That concept would remain same at everywhere whenever we are talking about the refund in the GST. Okay. Now, I have given the security initially. So everything is being provisionally assessed. Then the applicant may file an application for release of the security furnished after issue of the final assessment order. The proper officer shall release the security after ensuring that applicant has paid the amount and issue an order within 7 working days from the date of the receipt of the application. Okay. ABC Limited is a supplier of medical equipment to various hospitals. While supplying the equipment, he was not sure that the rate of IGST is 18 or 28. You are required to advise ABC Limited in this situation. So he can go for the provisional assessment. Okay. And once finalized, let's read. In such an event, ABC Limited can move an application for provisional assessment for seeking the permission to discharge the tax liability provisionally at the rate of 18% upon the submission of the bond and security and subject to the finalization of assessment. Upon finalization of the assessment, ABC Limited would be liable to pay the differential tax liability along with interest if it is found that applicable rate was 28, whereas he has paid 18% to the order. Now, I am asking one question from, see, that chapter I have not yet Kaushiki, we have discussed a lot. We have discussed in length in the refund chapter the concept of unjust enrichment. Let me explain here also, but in short. Okay. If you are required to understand in detail, I would request go to the refund recording. But let me see, if I am applying for the refund, then the suppose I am applying for the refund of the taxes. Okay. Then the taxes should be paid by me from my own pocket. The concept of unjust enrichment means I should not become rich without any justifiable reason. Because of the refund, I should not become rich. Why? Let's say, Kaushiki, I have given the supply to you on which I have collected the 28%. Okay. I have collected 28%. Now, let's say at the time of the final assessment, the final assessment order is saying you were liable to pay 18%. So prima facie, I can say I have to take the refund of 10%. Is it till now? Is it clear? Kaushiki, kindly confirm till now. Is it clear? Ki I have collected 28, but now I have liable to collect only 18. Suppose I do not know you. I don't know. Then in that case, whether I have passed the incidence of the tax or I have borne the incidence of the tax. What is the meaning? If I have collected the tax from customer, it means I have passed the incidence of the tax to buyer. And then I am not eligible for refund because I have not borne the incidence of the tax. So in my example, let's say I have collected from you 28% and final assessment talks about that I am liable to pay 18. So prima facie, I am eligible to get off 10%, but because I have transferred the tax, I have transferred the burden of taxes to you and I become unjust enriched if I get the refund of 10%. Therefore, I am not eligible. Therefore, I am not eligible to take the refund. We are talking about the, see, in the, not interest. Kaushiki, not interest. We are talking about either value or the rate of taxes. Either I have paid the excess tax because of the value or because of the rate of the taxes. So now it will become reduced, and as a result, going back, so now the tax liability as per the final assessment is lower. Why it is lower? Because either the value has been reduced or the rate has been reduced. So I become entitled for the refund. That is the point we are discussing. So customer would get the refund. Very nice question. In my view, yes. In my view, yes. So when you practically see, as of now, probably it is not in your syllabus, but if you say that whether customer would be eligible to take the refund, in my view, yes, but there are various conditions which you have to look into. Okay. So that point we are not talking about. Okay. Why the provisional assessment provision are included in the GST unlike income tax where there is no such assessment? What is the reason behind this and how it is beneficial to the taxpayer? See, suppose I am not at all sure. I am not at all sure the rate of the taxes and the value. But there is two possibility. Either I myself will determine the rate or value. There is a possibility that if I will ask the question from the department, then they will do certain study. And after that, they will give the order. So Reliance level would be comparatively increased on the value and the rate. Now, my one question to all of you, is there any parallel, one more concept in the GST, which I do not have explained because it is yet to come. That topic is yet to come. But if I'm unable to determine the rate, there is one more provision. I can go for that also. Can you please tell me? I think Mansa has already used the word. So probably you all can tell me that if I'm not sure about the rate of the taxes, can I go for one more provision? There is one more concept. I can ask the question from the department. Even for value, I can ask the question on the from the department. Absolutely correct. AAR, Advanced Ruling Authority. Authority for advanced ruling. We are going to discuss in subsequent classes, but yes, there is one more concept, but that is more reliable because the decision given by the advanced ruling authority is binding on the applicant and the jurisdictional officer. So here We are not sure that whatever the value or the rate has been given, it is fixed. Not sure, because it can change at the time of the final assessment. But the beauty of the advance ruling, that whatever the decision is being given, that is final. That is binding on applicant and as well as GST officer of that applicant, jurisdictional officer. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. So let's move further. Now, section 61, which talk about scrutiny of return. If you said so, no, I'm saying majority of the chance. I'm not saying 100% Shivam. In case of the provisional assessment and final assessment, obviously the value can be changed. But I'm only saying that there is a majority of the chance value would not be changed. Because if I'm saying that value cannot be changed, then what is the question of final assessment? Then what is the question? Why the question of the security and bond would come? It will not come definitely. The value can be changed. Yes, it can be changed. But I'm saying majority, that if the officer are saying and they are doing after certain research and everything, then it is possibility that value cannot be changed. I'm using the word possibility, probability. Okay. Now the next point is scrutiny of return, section 61. Once I have furnished the return, then department will do the scrutiny. And after verifying the returns, they find out something. Then they will intimate to me and I have to give the reply. So what is the word? Scrutiny of returns. It says that return furnished by the registered person may be selected for scrutiny by the officer to verify its correctness, where any return furnished by the registered person selected by the officer for security, the officer shall scrutinize the same with reference to the information available with him. Now, how he can do the scrutiny? They are saying scrutiny of returns. Suppose I have furnished the GSTR1 and I have furnished the GSTR3B. The GSTR1 is a GST return for details of the outward supply. GSTR3B is a monthly summarized return or quarterly summarized return. The value or outward supply declared in the GSTR1, but the value tax liability declared in the 3B are different. Similarly, the value appearing in my GSTR 2A and 2B, now 2A is not relevant, 2B is only the relevant document. The ITC as per the GSTR 2B, but ITC taken by me is different. Similarly, the question can be with respect to e-way bill. So these type of the scrutiny, after these type of the scrutiny, if he found some mistake, then he will issue the notice to the person, to the taxpayer. Any discrepancies found during the scrutiny of the return, the officer shall issue the notice giving such time, but maximum 30 days. It can be lower than that also. Normally, it can be like 15 days. From the date of the issue the notice or such further period as may be permitted by him, where possible, quantifying the amount of the tax, TIP, TIP, tax interest or penalty. And now, let's say I have received the notice by giving the discrepancy. Officer has pointed out the discrepancy. Now I will give the reply. The registered person will give the reply within a period of 30 days, whatever the time limit has been given, or such are further period which has been permitted by the proper officer. Either I will accept the discrepancy and pay the taxage, or I will furnish the explanation for the discrepancy regarding the non-acceptance of the discrepancy. Let's say I can say that I have wrongly filed the GSTR1, but I have paid the taxes correctly in the 3B. So actually there is a difference, but it does not result into any liability. Similarly, the ITC, which is appearing in 2B, but I have not received the goods in that month. So I have not taken the ITC. Might be the ITC which is being taken in the current month, the transaction was already appearing in my 2B. Might be that the transaction was import of the goods. The transaction was of the reverse charge by which I have taken the ITC, but the same would not appear or may appear. So any type of the reason, whatever you have the reason, you need to give the reply. Now, where the explanation furnished by the registered person is acceptable to the proper officer, then he will inform accordingly and he will not take any further action. Situation number 1. Situation number 2, that either my reply is not satisfactory or I have not given the reply at all, or I have accepted the discrepancy but I have not taken any corrective measure. Repeating once again, that either I have not given any satisfactory explanation, or where the registered person after accepting the discrepancy failed to take any action. The proper officer may take the following actions against the taxpayer. What is the action? Either audit under section 65 that we are going to discuss in this chapter only. The special audit, section 66. Then inspection search seizure under section 67. That is also the topic of the current today class. And there is a provision section 73 or 74. Whenever the tax, interest or penalty would be determined, the provisions is being given in 73 or 74. Let me only tell one difference, but however we are going to discuss in detail in the respective chapter. If there is a mistake, but it is a bona fide mistake, my intention was not malified. So if it is a non-fraud case, then tax, interest, penalty would be determined according to section 73. If there is malified intention, willful misstatement, fraud intention, in that case, the tax, interest or penalty would be determined according to section 74. I hope it is clear. एक बार quickly confirm करें. Can you please confirm that till now is it clear? ठीक है. Thank you. Now we are talking about assessment of the non-filer of returns. It means here they are talking about section 39 return, it means monthly or quarterly, and section 45 return, that is final return. So if suppose I have not furnished the return, let's say GST R3B, okay, then there would be the notice by the department in section 46. So that is nothing but the GSTR 3A, only for the sake of the knowledge only, but it is not important for the exam point of view, only for the sake of your knowledge. So once my due date is over and I have not furnished the return, the department will issue the notice in GSTR 3A, system generated notice. Remember, there is no manual interventions. A notice under section 46 has been issued by the officer requiring him to furnish the return within a period of 15 days. If I furnish the return within 15 days, no problem. The notice will be deemed to be withdrawn. Notice will be deemed to be withdrawn. And the taxable person fail to furnish the return, and if not furnish the return within 15 days, then officer may proceed to assess the tax liability to the best of his judgment. It's called as a BJA. I hope you have already know the word best judgment assessment. Taking into account all the relevant material which is available or which he has gathered. What the department will do? If I have furnished the return within 15 days, no problem, the notice will be deemed to be withdrawn. If I have not furnished the return within 15 days after the notice, they have issued the notice in the GSTR 3A. See, I'm using the form so that you can practically correlate. But please note, important point, that it is not relevant from your exam point of view, the form number which I'm using. I just like to give you the practical insight also, because these are the practical important chapter as well. In your day-to-day life, in your working life, it will regularly come. So department, what they will do, they will assess the liability and they will give the order to the best of its judgment, and the order number is ASMT 13, and also they will give the DRC 07. To determine the best judgment assessment. So what is the meaning of best judgment? So the officer would work as a knowledgeable person. It means he will not determine the liability by hook and crook. No, he has to gather the information which is available. So might be there are some informations available in the EV bill report. There are some information available in the GSTR 2A, 2B. Might be yes, furnish the GSTR 1 based on other source like intelligence information. So in all such cases, whatever the information available, they will take into account all such information and they will finally issue the assessment order ASMT 13 along with the DRC 07. Again, it says that if within 30 days, suppose I have received the ASMT 13 and the DRC 07. If within 30 days, I furnish the return, within 30 days, I furnish the return, whatever the tax, interest, etc. is there, I furnish the return, the order would be deemed to be withdrawal. Earlier, I was talking about the word, the notice would be deemed to be withdrawal. Now I'm talking about the order would be deemed to be withdrawal. Clear? The order of the best judgment shall be issued in the prescribed form and summary thereof. Summary would be in the DRC 07 and the prescribed form for the order is ASMT 13. Shall be, that is a summary of the tax liability, interest, penalty, etc. They have to upload the summary. So there is a prescribed form now. So I'm using the form number, that's it. So they are using two terms. They have to give the order in the prescribed form, that is ASMT 13, and also they have to give or upload the summary on the government GSTN portal. So that summary ka form number is DRC 07. Shall be uploaded electronically in the prescribed form. The assessment order. See, now the time limit to assessment order. What is the time limit to assessment order? The time limit is 5 years from the date specified in section 44. What is the section 44? That is annual return. So the period for which the tax is not being paid, then whatever the date is there for annual return, due date of furnishing the annual return, correct? From that date, the time limit would be 5 years. What is the withdrawal of the assessment order? Where the registered person furnishes the valid return for the within 30 days from the order, then it will be deemed to have been withdrawn. Yes, but the liability to pay the interest under section 50, late fees under section 47 will continue. So if he has not paid fully liability, that balance liability he has to pay. Now there is one circular is being issued by the CBIC, circular number 129. That circular is being basically talking about standard operating procedure, SOP. So what they are saying that First, the system generated message would be sent to all the registered person 3 days before the due date. So that I would get the information, yes, my return is due. Once the due date is over and the defaulter, it means I have not furnished the return, then again the message and mail would goes to proprietor, partner, director, karta, etc. Then after the expiry of the 5 days, so let's say 20 is the due date, message would goes. Then after 5 days, it means let's say assuming 25th. Okay. If I have failed to furnish the return, sorry. Within 5 days, again, if the return is not furnished, the notice would be issued in the 47. That is that is the notice would be in the GSTR 3A. This is the form number. They will say that you have to furnish the return within 15 days. Nahi Shivam, they cannot initiate taxpayer as time of 30 days to pay that department. See, we'll discuss. There is also one provision that they will wait for 3 months. They will not initiate the recovery action immediately. They will wait for 3 months. Correct. That we will also talk in some other provision in some other days. But yes, they cannot initiate the recovery action. Then the furnishing return within 15 days. If the return is not filed within 15 days, then the officer may proceed to assess the tax liability of the defaulter to the best of his judgment after taking into account all the relevant material. Now, what are the material? GSTR1, GSTR2A, e-way bill, and other informations based on the inspections under section 71. If the defaulter furnish the valid return within 30 days, then the said assessment will be deemed to have been withdrawn. It will be withdrawn. If the said return remain unfurnished, means within 30 days, if it is not furnished, then the officer may initiate proceeding under section 78 and recovery under section 79 of the CGST Act. They are also saying, based on the fact available, in some cases, the commissioner may resort to the provisional attachment to protect the revenue under section 83, including bank account. They have the power before issuance of the assessment order under section 62, if they feel so. Further, the officer would initiate the action under section 29(2) for cancellation of the registration in case where the return has not been furnished for the period specified in section 29. Shivam, point to be noted. Where it has been written in circular, failure to furnish the return under section 44 is also mentioned. But where it is being mentioned, failure to furnish section 44 return, have we discussed? See, you are talking about here only, kya? You are talking about this particular line. This is the time limit of the assessment. It is not talking about the section 44 return. They are talking about section 39 return or section 44 return. Only 2 return is being captured here. The section 44 ka reference is only being given to say what is the last date to do the assessment. Please confirm, is it clear? Now, till now, this topic is completed. Section 62 is completed. Now I'll tell you one practical problem that is not in your syllabus. Correct? The syllabus is being completed till now, but because of your practical understanding, I am telling you one more fact, which is the problem in the section 62. Okay, try to understand that. Suppose I am a taxpayer, I filed the return on 31st day. See, the section 62 is giving the time limit of 30 days. The officer has issued the assessment order. If I furnish the return within 30 days, then what happened? There is no requirement. Order would be deemed to be withdrawn. Problem nahi hai yahan par. There is no problem at all. Now I am talking about, let's say I have furnished the return on 31st day by paying the taxes, interest, everything. Will it be deemed to be withdrawal? Will it be deemed to be withdrawal? According to current provision, answer is no. According to current provision, answer is no. What to do? No solution. What to do? No solution. Okay, you are talking about circular 129. Let me read that also. Let me complete this particular point. So, because the time limit which is being given 30 days, then what is the solution? Currently, what I have to do? Suppose I have paid the taxes, everything I have done. So what to do? I have to go for the appeal. First level of appeal, I have to pay 10% taxes. But I have already paid the taxes. I have already paid the interest. There is no outstanding demand against me because I have filed the return. Only problem, I have furnished everything on 31st day. What to do? It will not be deemed to be withdrawal. For withdrawing the assessment order, I have to furnish. I have to file the appeal under section 107. Then the order would be withdrawal by the officer. To remove this problem, there is a proposed amendment not yet notified. There will be in the GST council meeting, it has been accepted. The time limit of 30 days would be increased to 60 plus 60, 120 days. You know why this time limit has been extended to 120 days? To match the time of section 62 with the time limit of appeal. That what is the time limit of making the appeal? We all know that there is a time limit of 3 months and 1 month condonation of delay. The total time limit to make the appeal is 4 months. Now the section 62 ka time limit is being matched with the appeal ka time limit. Is it clear? Any doubt? Kindly ask. One minute. Shivam, I got your question. Let me talk about one. Please give me 1 minute only. Please give me 1 minute only. Okay. Meanwhile, requesting everyone, either give me the confirmation that the proposed amendment, again, not applicable to the exams, but if I will not explain you, you will not be able to match the provision practically. So I hope it is for your advantage only. Ek baar confirm kare, is it clear or not? So fine, there would be probably the mistake at the, probably there would be the typing mistake. But if you refer the section 62, it talking about that notwithstanding anything contained in 73, 74. Let me show you the screen. Let me show you the screen. So I'm reading the section 62. Notwithstanding anything contained to the contrary, 73, 74, where a registered person failed to furnish the return under section 39 or section 45, even after service of the notice under section 46, that is GSTR 3A, then proper officer may proceed. It means they are talking about only two sections, 39 and 45. Yes, in the top of that circular 129, what the Shivam is saying is appear to be correct, is correct that they are giving the reference of 44 as well as 45. But yes, if you refer the below provisions and also if you refer the relevant section, the section 44 ka return is not being mentioned in the best judgment assessment. So therefore it is not being covered. This is my view. is it required to remember all these days? And no. Exam में days तो याद रखना पड़ेगा ना. Days and year you have to remember. Might be there is a small question. So these days and year are similar, but form number I have only explained for your better clarity. That's it. Because now you are the final student. Clear? Let's move to the section 63. Assessment of the unregistered person. Section 63 means notwithstanding anything contained contrary to 73-74, that if I have failed to obtain the registration, even though I am liable to do so. Suppose can you please tell me what is the threshold limit? What is the threshold limit of registration if I am making interstate supply of service? Is it mandatory or 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 30 lakh, 40 lakh, 50 lakh, 1 crore? Kitna limit hai? What is the threshold limit for taking the registration if I'm engaged in interstate supply of service? This question is not related to this topic, but let me ask to check your understanding. Please quickly tell me. Someone is saying mandatory registration under section 24. Someone saying mandatory registration under section 23. Someone are saying 20 lakhs. Three answer, all three are opposite to each other. What to do? Is it mandatory or till 20 lakh I'm not required to take registration? You again have to think and give me the reply. I asked very basic question. Correct. It is a question of intermediate. Viraj is saying 20 lakh. The answer is 20 lakhs. Remember, dear friend, whomsoever has told me has replied me mandatory. My question is interstate supply of service. In the October 2017, in the September 2017, they have issued the notification that interstate supply of service not covered under mandatory. Till 20 lakh, you are not required to take registration interstate supply of service. But if my question is interstate supply the goods, it become mandatory under section 24 clause 1. Kaushiki, Sivam, is it okay? If you like to check, you can check the notification number 10 by 2017. You can check the notification number 7 by 2017 and then last notification 65 by 2017. This was of October, September and November, 3 notifications. Fine. I just asked the question. It is not relevant to this chapter. Okay. Whose registration? The one first is liable to take registration, but I have not taken the registration. I am liable to take registration either by virtue of the section 22 or by virtue of the section 24. But I have not taken the registration. Second, whose registration has been cancelled under 29.2 for any of the reason. See, 29.2, it means the registration is being cancelled by the proper officer. The registration is being cancelled by the proper officer. Okay. A registered person has contravened such provision of the act or the rules made thereunder as may be prescribed. A person paying the tax under composition levy has not furnished the return for 3 consecutive tax period. Any registered person who has not furnished the return for 6 months, any person who has taken voluntarily registration, but Mansa, my question was also interstate supply. Mansa, my question was also interstate supply. I was not talking about interstate supply of service. That is not mandatory. So there is no fault at your end. A person has taken the voluntarily registration and not commenced the business within 6 months, or registration has been obtained by way of the fraud or willful misstatement, then officer has the power in section 29 subsection 2. Read with rule 21 capital A. They have the power to cancel the registration. Let's say they have cancelled the registration of Mr. A. Now, but he has not obtained the registration again. whose registration has been cancelled, but who is liable to pay the tax. But he was liable to pay the tax. The officer may proceed to assess the liability of the such registered person to the best of his judgment. Issue of the notice again. Before making the assessment, the officer shall issue the notice to the taxable person containing the ground on which the assessment is proposed to be made on the best judgment basis, and shall serve the summary thereof electronically. See, always there would be one order and there would be one summary. Time limit will be given 15 days. Thereafter, an order shall be issued and summary thereof shall be uploaded. However, no such assessment shall be passed without giving reasonable opportunity, not reasonable, without giving the opportunity of being heard. So that is the principle of natural justice, that if you're not giving the opportunity of the being heard to the taxpayer, then it is the violation of the Indian Constitution. So that particular order would itself be null and void. So in all such cases, they have to give the opportunity of being heard. What is the time limit of assessment? Again, same. The assessment order shall be issued within a period of 5 years from the due date of furnishing the annual return for the financial year to which such non-payment of tax relate. Let's assume the due date of the final return for 1819 is 31st December 2019. If the liability of person to take registration in the financial year 1819 for the reason that his turnover crossed the threshold limit, the period of 5 years reckoned from the due date of annual return, 31st December. Which 15 days? No, that are not working days. That will be consecutive. For example, the today is 10th, let's say, and the notice is being issued. I have to give the reply by 25th. That is not working day. Wherever the working days word is written, only to that extent the days would be working. Otherwise, it will be normal counting days, including Saturday, Sunday, everything. Can unregistered person pay the taxes? In which sense you are talking about? Because see, for in this, see, there is a temporary registration. You remember that there is a concept of temporary registration in section 25. So sometime what happened, let me give the example. Let's say I am moving the goods from Delhi to Rajasthan. In between there is a Gurgaon. Okay. And officer detained the goods because there is no proper e-way bill or there is no proper tax invoice. Now what happened? I am liable to pay the penalty under section 129. But I am not registered in Haryana. What they will do, they will give the GST number on suo motu basis, which would be valid for 3 months. They will give the GST number to me, and in that login, I have to pay the taxes. So prima facie answer would be no, but you are asking for this point that whether if registration is being cancelled, but he has to liable to pay the taxes. So without registration, he cannot pay the taxes. That is true. So he has to again apply. He has to apply for revocation. We know that there is a section 30 which talks about if the registration is being cancelled in the 29(2), the applicant has the process of revocation of application, but he has not filed the revocation. He was liable to pay the tax. Then they are saying it is the fault of the person, and therefore the assessment under section 63 can be initiated. Clear, Anna? See, I'll try to give the touch of the practical part also. So this actually, it is a theory chapter. So these all are theoretical chapter. I'm trying to give you the practical linking or practical part also, so that you can understand all these chapter practically from the practical. So it will remain longer period. Issue of the notice. Yes, we have discussed that part. We have discussed. Now section 64. Yes, Siva. In all such cases, initial year 17, 18, 18, 19, in all the initial years, the time limit to file the return, annual return GSTR 9 was extended multiple times. For 17, 18, it has been extended multiple times. 18, 19 also, 19, 20 also. Correct. So if the due date to furnish the return under section 44 has been extended, correspondingly, the time limit to do the assessment is also being extended. See, summary assessment in special cases. What is the special cases we are talking about? But section 64, summary assessment, somehow in the layman language, we are also talking that fast track assessment, assessment in the fast basis. Why? Let me discuss. Summary assessment can be initiated to protect the interest of the revenue with the prior permission of additional or joint commissioner. What is the reason? That proper officer has evidence that taxable person has incurred a liability to pay the taxes, and he has also the sufficient ground to believe that delay in passing an assessment order may adversely affect the interest of revenue. Revenue means government. What does it mean? They know that Mr. A is liable to pay the taxes, but he has not paid the taxes. And if we go by the normal time limit, let's say if we extend the same till 5 years, then there is a possibility that Mr. A will leave India, and it is impossible to recover the taxes from Mr. A. Any reason, I'm just giving one example. In such cases, they can take the approval. Who? Proper officer can take the approval from the additional or the joint commissioner to do the assessment on the fast track basis. Correct. The summary assessment shall be uploaded, assessment order and summary shall be uploaded. Withdrawal. Either applicant can file an application within 30 days from the date of the receipt of the order, or commissioner on his own motion where he find that such order to be erroneous and may instead follow the procedure laid down in 73-74. Determine the tax interest penalty. So either the Mr. A has applied the requested to the commissioner, additional or the joint commissioner, that kindly withdraw because there is no such reason by which I will not pay the taxes. Kindly do not do the fast track assessment. Please go on the regular. Or additional or the joint commissioner at its own, they can also withdraw that order and they can say that please proceed according to the normal process 73-74. The question, but sir, any person on behalf of the registered person can pay the tax. For example, I'm not, can I pay the tax? No, no. Because when you are paying the taxes, you put the GST number. You have to give the GST number, correct? So you cannot use the GST number of your father if you are logging from your ID. Answer is no. Viraj, sir, even regular return also extended several times, sir. Am I correct? Multiple time. Regular return is multiple time. GSTR 3B, GSTR 1, it is being extended multiple time. Even in the COVID period, it has been given a huge relaxation. And also, sometime the amnesty scheme is being also given. Late fees has been relaxed. So there was multiple times the date has been extended or late fees has been relaxed. But my point is that assessment is linked to the section 44. Section 44, annual return. The due date of annual return, it is being linked with that. I hope it is clear. So everyone are getting the understanding na, of these chapters, assessment, etc. सभी को ठीक लग रहा है ना? Class and everything is going on ना? Going well. Please confirm. मैं आपसे बार बार पूछता हूँ. This is my duty to provide the lecture in a most efficient manner. So that is the reason I'm asking again and again. Fine. The deemed taxable person in case of the supply of goods, where the taxable person to whom the liability is not ascertainable. Okay. And such liability pertain to the supply of the goods. The person in charge of the such goods shall be deemed to be the taxable person, liable to be assessed and liable to pay the tax and the other dues. Now we are moving to the audit provisions. Audit by the tax authority. Audit by the tax authority. So meanwhile, please confirm my question. Currently, whether the GST audit by a chartered accountant or cost accountant in the form GSTR 9C is applicable or not applicable. All are requested to confirm whether GSTR 9C to be certified by the chartered accountant, cost accountant or not. Kausiki, date is not correct. Date is not correct. Otherwise, now the GSTR 9C is self-certified. It is not by the chartered accountant or cost accountant. No. Earlier, there was 3 audit. One audit is section 35, subsection 5, which has been omitted. Second audit is 65 and third audit is 66. So now there is not, in the current date, there is 2 audit only, that both are audit from the government side. There is no audit from the company itself. In the one audit, section 65 audit, what the department will do, department will initiate the audit from its officer itself. So this particular going on in very, very, I can say, large manner. In every state, there is a departmental audit going on, section 65. Okay. And one audit is section 66 audit. What is the difference? The department, government will take the impanelment, will give the, will request the chartered accountant or cost accountant for impanelment. They will impanel themselves in the government panel, and then they have to conduct the audit. Second. So one audit is section 65 audit and another audit is departmental audit, but with the help of chartered accountant or cost accountant. Now, section 65 audit of any registered person, either by undertaken by the commissioner or any officer authorized by him by a general or specific order. Audit may be carried out at the place of the business of the registered person or at the GST office. The period could be a financial year or part or multiple thereof. It can be the half-year audit also. It can be 2-year audit also, or it can be 1-year audit also. Therefore, the commissioner and any officer authorized by him by way of the general or special order may undertake audit of any registered person even for a part of financial year or multiple thereof. Where it is decided to undertake the audit of the registered person, the officer shall issue the notice not less than 15 working days. Why not CA cost accountant? See, both are there now. You are talking about section 66, correct, Mansa? So we'll teach, we'll discuss. Give me 5 or 10 minutes. First, I will complete the section 65 and then we'll move to the section 66. So the proper officer will issue the notice in form ADT01. They will give the time limit of maximum 15 working days prior to conduct the audit. Here, this is very, very important. And the problem of practical problem is that this commencement of audit. It is practically problem. Why? Let's read the language. The term commencement of audit is very, very important because the audit has to be completed within the given time limit in reference to the date of commencement. So once the audit would be commenced, it would be completed within 3 months. What is the meaning of commencement of audit? The date on which the records or accounts called for by the audit authority are made available to them. The actual institution of audit at the place of the business of the taxpayer. The date on which the records or accounts is being made available to them. There is a possibility that, let's say I am GST officer. Okay. I need to conduct the audit of yours. I have given the one notice that or given requirement list to you. After 15 days, I have given another details that kindly submit this document. Again, after 15 days, I have given another list. Why I am giving so might be I am doing with an intention that once the audit would be commenced, then I have to complete within a specified period. But the commencement is being linked to the completion or the date on which all the records accounts has been made available. So it is not made available because I'm asking again and again. So practically this is the problem, that commencement, what does it mean? It means all the records available, and if all the records are not available, they can treat the same, that audit is not yet commenced. And that is the flaw. That is the problem. How this is being taken as an advantage, there is a possibility. Now, The time limit for completion of audit is 3 months. 3 months from the date of commencement of audit. Correct. The period can again be extended for another period of maximum 6 months with the permission of commissioner. How to conduct the audit? The proper officer authorized to conduct audit of these records and books of accounts of the registered person shall, with the assistance of the team of the officer and official accompanying him, may verify the following and records the observation in his audit notes. Document on which the books of accounts are maintained and written statement, the correctness of the turnover, exemption, deduction, rate of the taxes or ITC, refund claimed, etc. During the course of audit, the authorized officer may require the registered person to facilitate the verification of accounts records available or requisitions by the authority to provide such information as the authority may require or render the assistance. Finalization of audit. The proper officer may inform the registered person of the discrepancy noticed, if any, as an observation of the audit, and the said person may file his reply. The observation, so once audit would be completed, the officer who has conducted the audit, they will give the observations, discrepancy. Then I have to give the reply to those discrepancy. The officer shall finalize the finding of the audit after due consideration of the reply. On conclusion of the audit, the officer shall within 30 days inform the registered person whose records are audited about the audit finding and the reason for such finding. The officer shall inform the said person his right and obligation against that observation, where the audit result in determination of the tax not paid, short paid, erroneously refunded, ITC wrongly availed or utilized. Then officer can take the action against that taxpayer in the line of section 73 or 74. So let me again tell me first the officer will issue the notice to commence the audit. They will give the time limit of 15 days and 15 working days. Then the audit would be started, and commencement, we have understood the meaning that there is one problem. Once audit would be completed within 3 months, the time limit is 3 months to complete the audit. This 3 months can be again extended for another period of 6 more months with the approval of commissioner. And after that, they have to give the finding, you have to give the reply. After considering the reply, after taking into account the reply, they will take the action against 73-74. What is the 73-74? Determination of the tax, interest, and penalty for 5 problems, for 5 reasons. What is the 5 reasons? Tax not paid, tax short paid, erroneously refunded, ITC wrongly availed or utilized. The discrepancy in 73 and 74 are same. The only point that these 5 mistakes, if there is a no mala fide intention, unintentional mistake, it will goes under 73. If there is a mala fide intention, willful misstatement, it will goes under 74. Principal point for reference. Under direct tax regime in the GST, unlike direct tax regime, the GST regime separate assessment order is not passed by the tax authority for every financial year. In the GST regime, the tax authority may conduct audit involving one or more financial year or part thereof. At the end of the audit, the tax authority are required to communicate the finding along with the reason. Further, in the GST regime, maybe the audit exercise may be carried out at the place of the business of the office of the registered person. In such case, team of departmental official visit the premises. That's it. Now we are talking about special audit. If at any stage, scrutiny, inquiry, investigation, or any other proceeding before him, any officer not below the rank of the assistant commissioner, having regard to the nature and complexity of the case and the interest of the revenue, is of the opinion that value has not been correctly declared and credit is not within the normal limit. Again, what is the limit? It is not being prescribed. Then they may take the prior permission of commissioner, issue the direction to the registered person to get his record, including books of accounts, examined and audited by a chartered accountant or cost accountant as may be nominated by the commissioner. It will not be the every chartered accountant. First, they will take the nomination. They will create the empanelment. They will take the nomination. Like in Delhi, I can say the last month itself, last to last month, they have taken the nomination and they have called for interview the GST department for empanelment of the chartered accountant or cost accountant for section 66 audit. Mansa, why not CA, cost accountant? Is it clear? So your question is clear. Both are there, the chartered accountant or cost accountant, as may be nominated by the commissioner. The provision of the special audit shall have effect even if the accounts of the registered person have been audited under any other provision of the GST or any other law for the timing in force. Time limit to complete the audit, again 90 days. The assistant commissioner may extend the said period of 90 days by another 90 days on an application made by him in this behalf by the registered person or for any material and sufficient reason. Who will bear the expense of the audit? The commissioner. Correct. How is special audit report to be dealt with? The registered person shall be given an opportunity of the being heard on the basis of a special audit which is proposed to be used in any proceeding against him. On conclusion of the audit, the registered person shall be informed of the finding where the special audit result in the direction of tax. Five mistake. Tax not paid, short paid, erroneously refunded, ITC wrongly leveled or utilized. Then the officer, the demand and recovery will be initiated against the registered person in the 73 or 74. Practical point for reference, upon the conclusion of an audit under section 65 or 66, the registered person is communicated the proposed tax, interest and other liability along with the audit finding, and the registered person is called upon to discharge the liability. In case the registered person discharge the liability as proposed, no further action is taken. Otherwise, the authority may initiate the proceeding against the registered person under section 73 to 74. Thus, non-payment of the liability on culmination of the audit not automatically result in the intimation of the recovery proceeding. In case of the such non-payment, they have to require to be initiated under 73-74. So 73-73, 73-74, all together different process. So they have to give the notice, they have to give the order, something there is a different time limit which has to be adhered. That is separately. So by this, the first assessment and audit chapter is completed. Now, any question you can ask. Otherwise, we can have the break of 15 minutes. We can have the break of 15 minutes. Let me wait for 1 minute, 2 minutes to ask any question. If you have any doubt, kindly ask me. Otherwise, we will take the break and then we'll resume with the new chapter. What is the new chapter? Inspection, search, seizure, and arrest. Anyone have any questions? One important thing that please wait for the last 10 minutes because we are going to quickly ask the question, quickly revise the entire two chapter, chapter 17 and this chapter 18. So I think there is no question. So the next chapter would be inspection, search and seizure. That is also a small topic, but it's a very important topic. So fine. Ashokji, please start the break till 7. sir. So now we are starting the new topic, inspection, search, seizure and arrest. Meanwhile, there is one question by Viraj, that frequency of the audit and limit of the turnover. See, as you are talking about section 65 or 66, there is no limit of turnover and there is no frequency. As I told, it can be for one financial year, part thereof, or even multiple financial year. So even I have seen the audit under section 65, even for the SSE having the turnover less than 2 crore. So it is possible and there is no specified turnover as per the GST law. So now we are starting the another chapter, that is inspection, search, seizure and arrest. Now, what is the power of the inspection, search and seizure under section 67? Inspection is normally the softer provision than search. The inspection means we are not sure. Officer saying we are not sure, so we are going to visit some premises to check whether there is any evasion or not. But search is something to find. Inspection is a softer provision to search to enable officer to access any place of business of a taxable person and also any place of the business of a person engaged in transporting the goods or owner or operator of the warehouse or godown. As per section 67, inspection can be carried out by the proper officer only upon written authorization given by the officer of the rank of the joint commissioner or above. Now, circumstances for carrying out the inspection. Now, a joint commissioner or an officer higher in the rank can give the authorization to the proper officer if he has reason to believe. Very, very important. The reason to be believed has to be there. What is the reason to believe? We'll understand. What is the belief? That a taxable person has suppressed the transaction of supply, has suppressed the stock of the goods, has claimed excess ITC, contravene any of the provision of the act to evade the taxes. So that is the reason. And any person, so that is the taxable person. So can inspection be happen for unregistered person also? Can the inspection be happen for unregistered person also? Answer is yes. So meaning of taxable person means the person who is liable to be registered but not registered. So taxable person can be registered or can be unregistered also. And clause B, any person, it means here even officer has the power to check the unregistered person, not taxable person also. If he is a transporter who is transporting the goods or an owner or operator of the warehouse or godown who is keeping the goods which has escaped payment of taxes or has kept his accounts or goods in a manner that is liable to cause evasion. So that is the coverage. What is the reason to believe? It is not defined in the GST. Is not defined in the GST. So what is the meaning? Is reason to believe is to have the knowledge of the fact with although not amounting to the direct knowledge, would cause a reasonable person knowing the same fact to reasonably conclude the same thing. As per section 26 of IPC 1860, a person is said to be reason to believe if he has sufficient cause to believe that things but not otherwise. Reason to believe contemplate an objective determination based on intelligent care and evaluation as distinct from purely subjective consideration. So it should not be the subjective only. It should be some based on the belief and evaluation and distinguished from a purely subjective. Reason to believe is more than mere suspicious, but less than evidence in possession about the violation of the law. It has to be and must be that of an honest and reasonable person based on the relevant material and circumstances. During such inspection, if any goods which are liable to be confiscated, which are liable to be confiscated, discussed below, are found or any document or books of accounts are found which may be useful for the department in proceeding for determination of the tax, the officer conducting the inspection could search and seize these goods, document and things. Any tax law should provide power to enforce officer to check the evasion of the taxes. As per the dictionary meaning, the term search, in a simple word, denote an action of the government machinery to go look thoroughly and examine carefully the place, area, person, object, etc. in order to find something concealed or for the purpose of discovering evidence of the crime. The search of the person or vehicle or premises can only be done under proper and valid authorized law or valid authority of the law. The seizure has not been again defined in the GST. The seizure, law lexicon dictionary, seizure is defined as the act of taking physical custody, actual or constructive, of the property by an officer under the legal process. It generally implies taking custody forcibly, contrary to the wishes of the owner of the property or who has lawful possession or who was unwillingly to be the part with the possession. Not only input and capital goods may be seized, but all offending property. It can be movable, it can be immovable, books and records, computer, database, and everything that support the officer to protect the government revenue, including investigation. Now, confiscation of the goods. Let's move to the section 130. Section 130 says that goods become liable to be confiscated where any person does the following: supplies or receive any goods in contravention of any of the provision of the act or the rules made thereunder, does not account for the goods, supply any goods liable to tax under this act without having applied for registration, contravene any of the provision of the GST with an intention to evade the taxes. So section 130 can be applied or can be attracted, can be levied in following 4 circumstances. Let's repeat once again. Supply or receive the goods in contravention, but what is the intention? Leading to evasion of taxes. Does not account for any goods which was liable to pay the taxes. So goods supplying without accounting. Supplying any goods liable to tax without having applied for registration. Contravene any of the provision with an intention to evade the taxes. So an officer carrying out a search has the power to search and seize goods, document, books, and things. What is being written? The goods can be seized, document can be seized, books can be seized, and things can be seized, which are relevant for the proceeding from the premises search. However, if it is not practicable to seize, let's say there is a big plant and machinery which the officer like to seize, then they will issue direction to that person that you will not deal in such goods without taking the prior permission from officer. The person from whom the goods are seized shall be entitled. So till now it is clear. However, if it is not practicable, then they will give the order to the person that you will not deal in goods, that you will not move the goods without prior permission. So that goods would be remain in the premises of the particular seizure, where the seizure or search has been conducted. Because it is not physically to move. Now, the person to whom these are seized shall be entitled to take the copy of the seized record. Suppose Mr. A property has been searched by the officer and books, things, etc. has been taken by the officer. Now, if Mr. A want, he can take the photocopy of the books and accounts. But again, it is the discretionary power of the officer. Suppose officer believe that if I will give the copy to the Mr. A was so intelligent, so clever, he will do the editing in the books in such a manner that will evade the taxes. So the officer has the discretionary power to give the copies of he can deny also or he can allow also. Now, during the search and seizure, the officer has the power to break open the door or premises to be searched if access is denied. Similarly, while carrying out the search within the premises, he can break open any almirah or box if access to such almirah or box is denied, and in which any goods, accounts registered are suspected to be concealed. He can also seal the premises if access is denied. The seizure, now the question is, how many days he will retain the books of accounts, thing, etc. Who? Officer who has seized the goods, books or things. Then they are saying, till the time the same are required for examination. Problem is, no time limit is being specified in the GST law that the goods, books, things which has been attached, which has been seized, how many days he will keep. They are saying till the period he need for the examination inquiry proceeding. Okay. But he's saying the document which are not relied upon, so which are no use of that officer, he has to return within 30 days, like GSTR1, GSTR3B, copy of e-way bill. These are all are available in the portal as well. Officer, if want, can go and search, can go and see from the portal itself all these documents, all these GST returns, all these statement, e-way bill, etc. So he can return the same within 30 days, the document which is not relied upon. Manner of releasing the confiscated goods or document. Provisional basis, the seized goods shall be released on a provisional basis on execution of the bond and furnishing the prescribed amount of the security or on applicable payment of the tax, interest and penalty. Okay. Actual return of the goods. In case of the seizure of the goods, the notice has to be issued within 6 months. If no notice is issued within 6 months, see, what is the difference between seizure and confiscation? Try to understand. See, if something is being seized by the department, government, then it means only physical possession has been vested with the government. Till the time goods are not confiscated, the government will have only physical possession. Once it will be confiscated, then they will become the owner of that goods and they can dispose of that goods. That is the difference between seizure and confiscation. Now, in case the seizure of the goods, the notice has to be issued within 6 months. If no notice is issued within a period of 6 months, all such goods shall be returned. However, 6 months can be further extended by 6 more months by the commissioner on sufficient cause being so. So, if something is being seized, then 6 plus 6, they have to issue the confiscation order. If no confiscation order has been given, then the goods which has been seized by the officer has to be returned. The government may, if the goods are perishable in the nature, hazardous in the nature, depreciated in the value, or there is no sufficient space to keep the goods, then it can be the seized goods, the goods which has been seized and confiscated, it can be disposed of by the officer in the prescribed manner. Also, the inventory should be prepared in the prescribed manner. At the time of taking the possession, they have to prepare the inventory so that it can be given to the stakeholder also. Procedure for conducting the search. To ensure the provision for search and seizure are implemented in a proper and transparent manner, the Act stipulates the provisions in accordance with the provision of Criminal Procedure Code. Section 100 of the Code of Criminal Procedure prescribe the process for search. 1 minute. No search should be carried out without a valid search warrant. There should invariably be a lady officer accompanying the search to the residence. If they are searching the residence, then their lady officer has to be there. Officer, before starting the search, should disclose their identity by showing the ID card to the person in charge of the premises. The search warrant should be executed before the start of the search by showing the same to the person in charge of the premises, and his signature should be taken on the body of the search warrant in token of having seen the same. Let me repeat again. The search warrant should be executed before the start of the search by showing the same to the person, and the signature should be obtained. The signature should be at least 2 witnesses should also be taken on the body of the search warrant. The search should be made in presence of at least 2 independent witnesses of the locality. If no such persons are available or willing, then the other locality should be asked to witness the search. The witness should be briefed about the purpose of the search. Before the start of the search proceeding, the team of the officer conducting the search and accompanying the witness should offer themselves for their personal search to the PIC, person in charge of the premises being searched. Similarly, after completion of the search, all the officer and witness should again offer themselves for their personal search. A panchnama or majar of the proceeding of the search should necessarily be prepared on spot. A list of all the goods, document, recovered, seized, detained should be prepared and annexed to the panchnama majar. Panchnama or mahajar and the list of the goods detained should be signed by the witness and the person in charge, owner of the premises, before whom the search is conducted, and also the officer duly authorized by conducting the search. After the search is over, the search warrant duly executed should be returned in original to the officer with the report regarding the outcome of the search. The name of the officer who participate in the search may also be written on the reverse of the search warrant. The issuing authority of such warrant should maintain the register of record of such warrant issued and written, and used such warrant should be kept in record. Copy of the panchnama along with annexure should be given to the person in charge under acknowledgement. Search warrant and its content. The written authority to conduct the search is generally called the search warrant. The competent authority to issue the search warrant is an officer of the rank of the Joint Commissioner or above. Search warrant must indicate the existence of the reasonable belief leading to the search. Should contain violation under the Act, premise to be searched, name and designation of the person authorized for search, name of the issuing officer with the designation and a seal, date and place of the issue, serial number, period of validity. Safeguard. The certain safeguards are provided in 67 in respect of the power of the search or seizure. These are as follows. Seized goods should not be retained beyond the period necessary for their examination. Photocopy can be taken by the person. For seized goods, if a notice is not issued within 6 months plus 6 more months, then it has to be returned. Inventory of the seized goods shall be made. Certain specified category of the goods, such as perishable, etc., can be disposed of immediately. Witness should be present during the whole proceeding search. Ideally, yes. Ideally, yes. Provision of the code of certain specified category of the goods, such as perishable, hazardous, can be disposed of immediately after seizure. For instance, newspaper, periodicals, menthol, saffron, petroleum products, etc., can be immediately disposed of. Provision of the Code of Criminal Procedure relating to search and seizure shall apply. However, one important modification in section 165 subsection 5, instead of sending the copy of the records made in the course of search to the nearest magistrate empowered to take the cognizance of the offense, it has to be sent to the principal commissioner or commissioner. That is the only difference. Now section 68. Section 68 is talking about the inspection of the goods in movement. Inspection can be carried out of a conveyance carrying the consignment of the value exceeding 50,000 rupees. Exceeding specified limit means the limit is being specified in the rule 138. Okay. So that can vary for interstate from state to state, but for interstate it is 50,000. What is the provision? It is talking about e-way bill basically. The inspection can be carried out of a conveyance carrying the consignment value exceeding a specified limit. For interstate it is 50,000. The person in charge of the conveyance has to produce the prescribed document, which can be e-way bill, tax invoice, bill of the supply, or delivery challan, as the case may be, whatever it is applicable, and devices for the verification. There's a concept of RFID devices, radio frequency devices. Okay. So these are devices to be produced whenever it is being asked and allow inspection. E-way bill has been prescribed in chapter 11. E-way bill has been. So power to arrest. So the power to arrest, basically it is being given in section 69, but it is somehow linked with section 132. How it is being linked? Let me explain you. The arrest, again, it is not defined in the GST. However, as per the judicial pronouncement, it denotes the taking into custody of a person under some lawful command or authority. In other words, a person is said to be arrested when he is taken and restrained for his liberty by power or color of lawful warrant. Arrest can be carried out only when the person is accused of the offense specified for this purpose. A tax amount involved more than the specified limit. What is the limit? Greater than 2 crore. Okay. Further, the arrest under GST can be made only under authorization from the commissioner. Whenever the commissioner has reason to believe that any person has committed any offense, he can authorize to arrest that person. He can authorize any other officer subordinate to him to arrest. Okay. Offense has been specified in section 132. The commissioner can authorize an officer to arrest a person if he has reason to believe that person has committed an offense attracting the punishment under 132(1), clause A, clause B, clause C, and clause D. These all offenses, 132(1), 132(1)A, B, C, D, if the offense are such, or 132, and the punishment is being given in the clause 1 or the clause 2. What is the offense? So basically what they are saying, they are linking the two provisions. They are linking the two provisions. What are the two provisions? So they are saying the category of offense and punishment. The category of offense are, if it is a one-time offense, is being covered by clause A, clause B, clause C, clause D. In short, I can explain that if the supply of the goods are there, but there is no tax invoice, or there is a tax invoice, but there is no supply of the goods. It means only supply of the goods, no invoice. There is an invoice, but no supply of the goods. On the basis of that particular invoice, ITC has been taken, or tax has been collected but not paid beyond a period of 3 months. If the offense are these four and punishable with an amount is involved more than 2 crore. So there is a two clause 1 and clause 2, 2 to 5 crore and more than 5 crore. We will discuss. If the amount is involved is more than 2 crore, then that person can be arrested. What is the difference between arrest versus imprisonment? Because when I will explain section 132, you will also understand that there is a concept of imprisonment. So how does it different? The difference is the imprisonment can be happen only after concluding the case. So when the case is going on, it's done, completely done, it is being announced, the penalty has been announced, the term of imprisonment has been announced, and then if the person is being arrested, then it is called imprisonment. If during the trial of the case, it is not judged, during the case, it is not reached to conclude, it is not concluded, it is not reached to finality. During the trial of the case, if someone like to be detained, then in that case, it is called as arrest. It means if these are the four offenses which are serious in nature, and 132(2) is basically repeat offender without any limit. Repeat offender. If these are the offense, then this person can be directly arrested. So that is the point which has been discussed. 132, there are the four provisions, ABCD or repeat offender, and details has been given. Amount is more than 2 crore. And repeat offender can be arrested. 132(2) talking about repeat offender, which means first time he has done the mistake, next time he is repeating that mistake. Then irrespective of any amount, he can be arrested. What is the safeguard for the provision for the person who is placed under arrest? There are certain safeguards. If a person is arrested for cognizable offense, he must be informed in writing of the ground, and he must be produced before magistrate within 24 hours. If the person is arrested for non-cognizable and bailable offense, then he should be released. Deputy or assistant commissioner can release him on bail, and he will be subject to the same provision as an officer in charge of the police station. So that we are going to discuss again in detail. What is the bailable offense? What is the non-bailable offense? What is the cognizable versus non-cognizable offense? That all the things we are going to discuss in section 132. All arrest must be in accordance with the provisions of Code of Criminal Procedure. Arrested person, if convicted, then can be imprisonment under any law. Sir, Shivam, I do not aware about any other law. In the GST, I can tell you, I can reply to your question. Okay. Section 132 also prescribe which type, so that cognizable, non. Achha, let me take about here only. Cognizable means serious in the nature. Non-cognizable means less serious in the nature. Cognizable offense, serious category. A police officer has the authority to make the arrest without warrant and to start an investigation with or without the permission of the court. What is the non-cognizable offense? Less serious in the nature, which a police officer does not have the authority to make the arrest without warrant. So non-cognizable, we need the officer need the arrest warrant, and cognizable do not require arrest warrant. Cognizable and non-cognizable offense are being given in section 132. If the amount exceed 5 crore, it is a cognizable and non-bailable if it is a first offense. If it is a repeat offense, then it is cognizable. Always. Okay. Other offense under this act are non-cognizable and all arrested shall be released on the bail. So difference between bailable and non-bailable offense. What is the difference between bailable and non-bailable offense? I am explaining right now only because it is being covered in the chapter. The difference between bailable offense, it means the person arrested can be released on bail. And non-bailable offense means no bail. No, that is not the things. In the bailable and non-bailable, the person can be released on bail. Only difference, the who has the power to give the bail. In case of non-bailable offense, the person can be granted the bail by the arresting officer. It means deputy commissioner or assistant commissioner. But if the offense are bailable, non-bailable, then bail would be granted by the magistrate. The bail would not be granted by the deputy or assistant commissioner. The bail would be granted by the magistrate. That is the only difference. Provisions of the Code of Criminal Procedure relating to the arrest and the procedure thereof must be adhered in all situations amounting to arrest. It is therefore necessary that all the field officer of the CGST be fully familiar with the provision of the Code of Criminal Procedures. One important provision is to be taken note of the section 57, which provide that a person arrested without warrant shall not be detained for a longer period than not exceeding 24 hours. Within this period, the person arrested shall be produced before the magistrate. Okay. Guideline for arrest. Decision to arrest need to be taken on case-to-case basis. So multiple times CBIC has given the communication that arrest is not a simple provisions. It has to be it has to be applied with due care. Correct? On considering various factors such as nature, gravity of the offense, quantum, nature and quality of the evidence, possibility, etc. Power to arrest has to be exercised after careful consideration on the fact of the case, which may include to ensure proper investigation, to prevent such person from absconding, mastermind or key operator effecting proxy, benami, importers, exporter in the name of the dummy or non-existence, mastermind or key operator affixing proxy, benami, importer, exporter in the name of the dummy, where the intent to evade the duty is evident and element of mens rea, guilty mind is palpable. Prevention. So, can you please tell me what is the meaning of mens rea? I'm one question to all of you. What is the meaning of mens rea? Can you please tell me? I'm waiting for your answer. So what is the meaning of mens rea? Sorry, I have taken short break only 1 minute. The meaning of mens rea, it means to do the any offense. There is a malified intention. There is a guilty mind. So mens rea is very, very important to determine the penalty. So normally we know that mens rea need the so presence of the mens rea would be required in the criminal offense, but not in the civil offense. But yes, when we will discuss the penalty chapter, then you will understand that even mens rea would require in some civil law also, in GST as well. The prevention of the possibility of tampering with evidence, influencing the witness, large amount of the evasion of the taxes, etc. Now, what is the section 70's power to summon? The summon is a very serious document. Okay. But nowadays it has been in normal practice by the officer that they are issuing the summon in like a normal journal notice. CBIC again has given the direction that when and when not the summon to be issued. When the summon to be issued, what is the precaution to be taken before issuance of the summon? Because summon would be considered as a serious document. During the course of any inquiry under this act, the proper officer may summon any person to appear before him. Please note, the word is written any person. Always read the any person, any taxable person, any registered person. There is a difference between these three terms. So it is important now after 67 onwards. So there is an importance that what is the word is being used. It means someone can be given even to any person, not necessary that he should be registered. Agree with Kaushiki, Sevam and Viraz. All are correct. With respect to the question, mens rea. So they are saying the summon to appear before him and give the evidence or produce the document. The person to whom such summon has been issued is duty bound to appear before the officer and bound to tender the evidence. He is also bound to produce all documents which were required to be furnished. Now, giving evidence or produce the document does not permit calling for the entire books of accounts, entire set of the books of accounts. It is important to call for the specific evidence or document. Recording a statement on oath is not the conclusion of the investigation, but to further the investigation that the evidence or the document obtained in summon will help in supporting charges against that person. A statement made in summon are inherently unreliable for the reason that the person may be annexed due to the nature of the proceeding. It is also important to note that a person who has made a statement may modify or even withdraw that statement, but not with inordinate delay. So within the due time. Statements are also not free from the doubt due to any inimical relation between the person recording the statement and the person or entity charged with offense. Why these sentences, why they are saying so? See, normally what happened that let's say Mr. A, there is a summon has been issued against Mr. A. Mr. A would be called, let's say on tomorrow 4th March, they will be called to come at morning 10 a.m. Now from 10 a.m. they will not ask any point till like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. He will sit idle. Obviously he would be frustrated. Now they will tell that kindly come tomorrow. He will come tomorrow and again the same things would be repeated. At the evening, they will tell kindly come tomorrow. Like this type of the action taken by the person who is recording the statement. After 3, 4, 5 days, now then he is recording the statement. So there might be this type of the practice. Now, therefore, they are saying it is important to note that even the person can modify or even can withdraw the statement. Reliability of the statement is discussed in section 136 under 5 circumstances are stated wherein the statement may be accepted by the court as reliable. We'll discuss in the offense and penalty chapter. In all other cases, the court will administer oath again and record the evidence. Document not otherwise available may be summoned and collected, such as contract or other document, etc. annual accounts are anyways available in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs website. The responsibility of the person so summoned. So a person who is issued summon is legally bound to attend either in person or by authorized representative, and is bound to state the truth before the officer who has issued the summon upon any subject which is subject matter of the examination, and to produce such document and other things may be required. Consequence of non-appearing to summon: the proceeding before the official who has issued the summon is deemed to be the judicial proceeding. If a person does not appear on the date when summoned without any reasonable justification, he can be prosecuted under section 174 under IPC. If he abscond to avoid service of summon, he can be prosecuted under 172 of the IPC. And in case he does not produce document or electronic record required to be produced, he can be prosecuted under section 175 of the IPC. In case he gives the false evidence, he can be prosecuted under section 193. In addition, if the person does not appear to be summoned, there is an offense in section 122, which can be he can be liable to the penalty of 25,000 under CGST and similar amount under SGST. Guideline given by the how to understand the document is summon. In top, it is written summon under section 70. So Viraj, this chapter inspections are difficult to understand. See, it is completely theory now. So I'll try to give the summary also. At the end, let me complete. There is 1 or 2 pages. At the end, I will also re-explain with the summary. Okay, it will be better. It will be it will be easy for you to remember. But allow me 10-15 minutes. We will complete this chapter, and also at the end, I will give you the summary of the entire chapter. The Central Board of the Indirect Tax and Customs (CBIC) in the Department of Revenue has issued the guideline for summon. Summon are to be issued as a last resort. Can be authorized representative, legal person, advocate, or any account officer, any employees also can be the authorized representative for attending the summon. Summon are to be issued as the last resort where SSC are not cooperating, and this section should not be used for the top management. So you cannot say, for example, we like to give the summon. So officer like to give the summon to, let's say, Tata. So they cannot call directly the management, because if the summon is being issued in the name of the management, it will be negative impact on the goodwill of that company. The language should not be harsh and legal, which cause unnecessary mental stress and embarrassment to the receiver. Summon by the superintendent should be issued after obtaining prior written permission from an officer not below the rank of assistant commissioner. Where for operational reason it is not possible to obtain prior written permission, oral or telephonic permission, then must be obtained, and the same should be reduced to writing and intimating to the officer according to the permission at the earliest opportunities. In all cases where summon is issued, the officer is issuing summon should submit a report or should record a brief of the proceeding in the case, file and submit the same to the officer who has authorized the issuance of summon. Senior management like CFO, CEO, general manager, large company, public sector should not generally be issued summon at the first instance. They should be summoned only when there are indications in the investigation of their involvement in the decision-making process which lead to the loss of revenue. So this would be the last page. Let me complete, and after that Viraj will definitely do the revision of this chapter also and earlier chapter as well. Okay. Now the precaution to be observed while issuing the summon. The summon should not be issued for appearance where it is not justified. The power can be exercised where there is an inquiry being undertaken and the attendance is necessary. Normally, summon should not be issued repeatedly. As far as practicable, the statement of the accused or witness should be recorded minimum number of appearance. Respect the time of the appearance given in the summon. No person should be made to wait for long hours, which I told you practically it is happening like this only. Preferably, the statement should be recorded during office hour. Now, summon is completed. Next is section 71, access to the business premises. So during the course of any proceeding, The duly empowered officer can have the access to any business premises which may be required for the purpose of inquiry. During such cases, the officer can inspect the books, document, computer, program, software, or such other things as may be required. It is the duty of the person in charge of that premises to furnish the required document. Similarly, the person in charge of the business premises are also duty bound to furnish the document to the audit party, like section 65 or section 66, which we have discussed in the last chapter. Officer or the chartered accountant or cost accountant who has been deputed by the commissioner to carry out the special audit under section 66. The following records are covered by this provision. The record prepared and maintained by the registered person and declared to the proper officer in the prescribed manner: trial balance, financial statement, cost audit report, income tax audit report, other records. Power under section 71 may be contrasted with the power of section 67 to inspect the premises. It may be noted that circumstances when each of these sections are applicable are not similar. 71 is more general in its scope, where 67 is specific. Officer to assist the proper officer. So officer means any officer. Proper officer means GST officer. 71 is giving the giving the power that officer should assist, not power. They're requesting, or they are saying that following officer as an empower and are required to assist GST officer for the proper execution of the GST Act. Police officer, railway, custom officer, any state officer, or land revenue officer, village officer, or any other officer. Now, this chapter is being completed. Okay. First, you tell me any question, and then I'll try to explain the entire chapter in the summary manner. No, that is not okay. Let me explain in my own language. Any question if you have? So first, we are trying to understand. We have the couple of minutes. Let's give you 10 to 15 minutes on this chapter only. Inspection, search, seizure, and arrest. First, we have discussed section 67. What is section 67? Power of inspection, search, seizure, and arrest. You all have the study material. I request everyone to open that study material. So first point, whether inspection, search, seizure can be normally carried out or there has to be something. Please open that study material. We'll discuss 15 minutes in short this chapter again, so that probably I can say outcome of this chapter would be comparatively large. I am reading section 67. Please read from the study material and kindly answer my question from the study material. All are ready? All are ready? This time, this is not only question answer, but I'm going into bit detail to summarize the entire chapter. So first, please tell me whether inspection can be carried out generally or there has to be something. The answer is there has to be the reason to believe. Whether reason to believe has been defined in the GST. Whether reason to believe has been defined in the GST. All are requested to open the study material, give the answer. You will have the more confidence on this chapter. I'm not receiving any reply. My question, section 67, inspection, there has to be the reason to believe. Correct. Then next point, that the reason to believe should be of what? Reason to believe किस चीज का होना चाहिए? मतलब what is the mistake? What is the things which is in the knowledge the officer, then as a reason he is doing the inspection. There can be the suppression of any supply of the goods or services, suppress the stock in hand, claim excess ITC, contravene the provisions. Correct. Can transporter be inspected? Can officer inspect the transporter or the operator of the warehouse or godown? Just say yes or no. The answer is yes, it can be. So we have discussed the taxable person. We have also discussed the transporter or warehouse operator or godown operator who is keeping the goods which are liable to be confiscated or escaped payment of taxes. Yes, it can be. The next point to all of you. So my request, everyone, please participate so you have the better confidence on this chapter. So we have discussed that search, seizure, and then confiscation. Can you please tell me the difference between seizure and confiscation? Can you tell me that difference between seizure and confiscation? Can you please tell me the difference between seizure and confiscation? The seizure is physical possession of the goods by the officer or by the department, and confiscation means ownership would also goes to the government. It means in the seizure only physical possession, and in the confiscation he become the owner. Government become the owner. Now, is there any time limit to issue the confiscation order? Suppose the goods has been seized. Now, is there any time limit to issue the order for confiscation? This is my question. What is the time limit to issue the confiscation order? What is the time limit to issue the confiscation order after seizing the goods? The time limit would be initially 6 months, and it can be further extended by 6 more months with the permission of commissioner. So 6 plus 6, total 12 months. He has to give the confiscation. If he is not giving the confiscation order, then what? Suppose he is not giving the confiscation order, then what? Then what? क्या होगा अगर मान लो वो 6 plus 6 month में confiscation order issue नहीं करता, then what happens? So whatever the goods has been seized now, it has to be returned. Whatever the goods has been seized, it has to be returned. Now let me come back again to seizure. Now if officer is coming for seizure, search and seizure, then what is the power with the officer? Can you please tell me what is the power? See, officer is coming to the premises of Mr. A. What is the power? Any 1 or 2 point, it will be suffice. You can open the study material also, but try to reflect so that this chapter would be under your control. Any power? You can tell me 1 or 2 point, that would be great. Whether voice is coming properly? One power. Like okay, sir. Let me. Please confirm. Is it okay now? Viraj and Sham, please confirm. Is it okay now? Now the voice clarity. Now there is a clarity of the voice or not? My question was that what is the power of the officer during the search and seizure? I can say that can. What will be the power of So he can break open the almirah, he can seal up the premises, he can seize the goods, things, books, and whatever, and he can bring the goods whatever the time you want. If the goods, books, or things is not relied upon, it has to be written with how many days. Still not good. So जी आवाज ठीक है, वॉइस क्लियर है मेरी? तो प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रही है बच्चों को? Audio is still unclear, audio is still unclear, I can't understand anything. Oh my god. एक बार 2 मिनट का ब्रेक स्टार्ट करो, मैं बंद करके चालू करता हूँ. 2 मिनट का ब्रेक स्टार्ट कर दीजिए सर, ठीक है? आई एम टेकिंग 2 मिनट ब्रेक, just logging out and logging again. Requesting every member, every participant kindly confirm every student that now the voice is okay or not okay. एक बार वापस confirm करें. गीता, विराज, श्याम कुमार, शिवम, everyone requested to confirm that whether voice is clear or not. so that we can continue. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great. So we were talking about if the officer comes to the premises of Mr. A, what is the power? He can seize the goods, books or things. Can you please confirm that if he is taking the goods, books or things which is not relied upon, within how many days it has to be returned? कितने दिन में उसे लौटाना पड़ेगा वो बुक्स, वो किताबें, वो चीजें which he has taken? Within how many days which is not being relied upon has to be returned? So the answer is within 30 days. And what is the time limit to return the things which is relied upon? There is no time limit. He can keep till the time he require. Okay. Acha, let me ask the question to all of you. Can Mr. A take the copies of the document which is being seized by the officer? Can Mr. A take the copies of the document which is being seized by the officer? This is my question to all of you. क्या वो सीज कर सकता है? क्या वो कॉपी ले सकता है जो वो सीज करके लेके गया? Can the Mr. A take the copies or extract of the seized records? Answer would be yes, but एक point हमेशा ध्यान रखना. Please add one more point in your mind that yes, it is a discretionary power of the officer. Can he break upon? Next question: can he break open any door, almirah if the access is denied? Can the proper officer has the power to break open the almirah, door, devices, etc.? If the access is denied? Answer is yes, he can. He can. If the access is being denied, yes, he has the power. Now the next question, with the goods, I am asking three questions. With the goods, I am asking three questions. The first question, can the goods be released on provisional basis? Next question, when the goods are actually returned and when the goods are to be disposed. मेरा तीन question, I am asking three questions to all of you. Goods which has been seized by officer, can it be provisionally released? If yes, then give me the answer. If yes, then give me the answer. Please add one or 2 points that yes, it can be released subject to the. It can be released subject to the something. You can add some point. Subject to the bond and security. Correct. Next, within how many days the goods has to be actually returned? Very important question. Suppose goods has been seized by the proper officer. Within how many days he has to be returned the goods if something has not been, if some action has not been taken by the officer, then he has to return the goods within some period. Please complete my sentence. Officer has seized the goods. Now, within some period, if he has not taken such action, then he has to return the goods. Please complete the period and please also complete the action to be taken by the officer. Very important question, sir. Very important question. Please give the answer. Absolutely correct. What is the action which I'm talking about? Can you please tell me, Shivam, what is the action which I'm talking about? Or whether the answer which is being given by you, can it be extended? Can this period be extended, which you have given the answer? Can this period be extended? Correct. Within 6 months of seizure, confiscation order has to be issued. If not issued, then the goods has to be returned by the officer. seized goods has to be written. This 6 month period can be extended by another period of 6 months with the permission of commissioner. Thank you so much. Next question, please see the study material, then you can give the answer. I'm not saying that you give the answer from your remember or try to recall the provision. No. Try to see the study material, because this chapter you are not much comfortable. My next question, can the goods be disposed of? If answer is yes, in which circumstances? The goods can be disposed of by the officer. Under which circumstances? Please tell me any one or two circumstances. The goods which has been confiscated by the officer can be disposed of under some circumstances. Try to tell me any one or two circumstances. Very nice. क्या बात है कौशिकी? Very nice. Yes, it should be any reason, like goods has been perishable in the nature, hazardous in the nature, depreciated in the value, no sufficient space. Absolutely correct. Now, we all know that search has to be done in accordance with the provision of section 100 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Okay. Please read the provision and tell me any 2 or 3 things. Can you please tell me the name of the document which is to be issued? Read the provision, section 100 of the CRPC. Please read the provision. Tell me which document will be issued after search. We have read one name, like something, one name was there to complete the proceeding of the search or something that one name of the document we have discussed. One name of the document. What was the name of the document which has to be given? क्या बात है, इसका एक नाम और है ना कौशिकी, एक नाम और है. There is one alternative name also. Read, see the study material, give the answer. No problem. Answer is पंचनामा और महाजार. ठीक है, पंचनामा और महाजार. Correct, absolutely correct. Now read the content and tell me any 2 content to be there on search warrant. On search warrant, they have specified some content. Please tell me any 2 content. Look the study material, give me the answer. Any 2 content which has to be there on search warrant. Any 2 content, that is okay. Name, किसने issue किया, name and designation of the person. I'm also reading violation of the law, premises, name and person who is issued, date and place of the issue, serial number, period of validity, etc. Okay. Now coming to the arrest. Section 69. Okay. Arrest, can you please link with section 132? When the arrest can be happen? When the arrest can be happen under section 69. We have linked the 2 provision and then I have given the understanding to all of you. Can you please tell me when the arrest can be happen? Section 69, when the arrest can be happen, I have explained by linking with section 132 offenses. Please try to explain that particular stuff. Yes, amount is more than how much? Yes, first thing, Kaushik, you have given correct answer. We have talked about 2 things. The offense should be of this and the amount should be of this. If it is combined, then arrest can happen. You are correct with respect to amount. You are correct with respect to amount, but what about the nature category of the offense? That I would need. Repeat offense, no amount. Otherwise, for 4 category of the offense, there is amount is more than 2 crore. What was the 4 offenses? 130 to 1 A, B, C, D. Goods has been supplied without invoice. Invoice has been given, no goods. Without movement of the goods or without supply of the service. Correct. ITC has been taken, tax collected but not paid beyond a period of 3 months. Kaushiki, amount is more than 2 crore. Okay. And if it is a repeat, irrespective of the repeat offense, then irrespective of any amount, it can be arrested. Now, my next point is that if the offense are cognizable, then he has to produce within some hour. If the offense is cognizable and person is arrested, then arresting person has to produce this to someone else within some hours. Please complete the sentence. Within 24 hours before magistrate. Can you please tell me the difference between bailable offense and non-bailable offense? This is a slight detailed answer. Please tell me the difference between bailable offense and non-bailable offense. Can you please tell me the difference between bailable offense and non-bailable offense? Offense are bailable or not bailable? Offense are bailable or not bailable? What is the difference? Okay. If it is a bailable means bail would be granted by the person who is arresting. Commissioner, joint commissioner. And if it is a non-bailable, it means it doesn't mean that bail cannot be granted. It means that bail would be granted, but not by the arresting person. It would be granted by the magistrate. Now we are talking about cognizable offense and non-cognizable offense. The cognizable offense are bailable or not bailable. 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 The cognizable are non-bailable, whereas non-cognizable are bailable. The cognizable are non-bailable, it means bail would be granted by the magistrate, and non-cognizable are bailable means arresting can the person arrested can be granted the bail by the commissioner, joint commissioner, etc. Okay. Now try to interlink. Can you please tell me? We have discussed the amount in cognizable offense also, if it is exceeding this much of the amount. We have also discussed if amount exceed by this much, then it is arrested. In cognizance of the offense, we have discussed one amount more than this in the Power to arrest, we have discussed amount. Can you please tell me what is the amount in cognizable offense? What is the amount in power to arrest? If the offense is more than this much of the amount, then it is considered as cognizable. And whereas if the offense are exceeding this much of the amount, then it is giving the power to arrest. On spot by the officer. Yes, Viraj, it can. It can. If it is available, it can. क्या बात है. Very nice. Shivam, Kaushiki, both are right. विराज, अभी कैसा लग रहा है चैप्टर? इज इट ओके नाउ? थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंस आया इस चैप्टर पर? यू हैव गिवन दैट कि इंस्पेक्शन सर सीधे समझ में नहीं आ रहा, समथिंग लाइक दैट. ओके, चलिए सर, फाइन. तो नाउ आई एम मूविंग टू द क्वेश्चन आंसर ऑफ द फर्स्ट चैप्टर दैट वी हैव डिस्कस, assessment and audit. Now I'm moving to the okay answer. Non-cognizable, cognizable, it means more than 5 crore. इसका मतलब बाकी क्या हुआ? Non-cognizable हो गया ना. Other than that would be non-cognizable. Kaushiki. Cognizable means more than 5 crore. It means other than that are cognizable. That we will discuss much more detail in section 132. ठीक है. And that you have correctly told that for the arrest, it should be more than 2 crore. Let me start the topic assessment, etc. What is the self-assessment? What is the meaning of self-assessment? Please tell me what is the meaning of self-assessment? What is the meaning of self-assessment? It means the registered person is determining the liability and paying, filing the return under section 39. That is the self-assessment. Next question. In case of the provisional assessment, what are the two factors, the two situations in which one can apply for the provisional assessment? Mr. A like to apply for the provisional assessment, in which case he can apply. What are the two difficulties being faced by the taxable person? Then he can apply for the provisional assessment. Very right. My question is, Mr. A like to file the request or like to go for the provisional assessment, in which case, or what are the difficulties for which he can go for the provisional assessment? That is my question. Correct. If he is unable to determine the value and he is unable to determine the rate of the taxes. Correct. Can you please tell me the provisional assessment order would be issued by not later than how many days? The provisional assessment order would be issued by not more than how many days? By not more than how many days? Answer is कितना? 30 की 90 की 6 month? Is it a 6 month? Is it a 3 month? Is it a 30 days? Is it a 90 days? What is the answer? I'm talking about the provisional assessment order. Please note one thing. Mr. A has applied for the provisional assessment. Officer has given the notice, submitted the document, everything, but that officer has to give the provisional assessment order not later than 90 days. Not later than 90 days. Thank you so much. Now, the provisional assessment order Will they ask any bond or security? For how much amount? The security would be, the security cannot exceed how much percentage of the bond. Security cannot exceed how much percentage of the bond. Security cannot exceed how much percentage of the bond value? 25%. Thank you so much for Siki. The right answer is 25%. Now, once the order is being provisionally, order has been issued, then what is the time limit to finalize the assessment? What is the time limit to finalize the assessment? There are 3 time limit, this plus this plus this. So initial time limit, further extension, then by whom it can be extended. Further extension, you have to give me by whom it can be extended. My question is that the provisionally assessed case, now the officer has to initiate the final assessment. What is the time limit within which he has to assess for the finalize? What is the time limit to finalize the provisional assessed case? That is my question. My God, very nice, yeah. Oh, great. There would be the 3 date, this month plus this month plus this month. You have to give the who can extend this time limit. Yes. Initially time period is 6 months. Another, it can be extended by 6 more months by JC or additional joint commissioner or additional commissioner, and it can be further extended by 4 years with the approval of commissioner. Great. Scrutiny of returns. So he is doing the scrutiny, then he will issue the assessment order. Then can you give me any one example? So under section 61, as officer is doing the scrutiny of the return and he is giving the discrepancy to the taxpayer. Can you please tell me any one possible situation by which the officer come to the notice of the discrepancy? Any one possible reason by doing the scrutiny of returns. My question is on the scrutiny of returns, section 61, any one possible reason by which the discrepancy can be noticed during the scrutiny of the return by the officer. Any one possible reason. I have discussed 2-3 situations. Can you please tell me any one situations? Yes, absolutely correct. Like it can be absolutely correct. It can be the mismatch in GST R1 and 3B. It can be mismatch in the ITC claimed EV bill reports, maybe others. Like these type of the can be mismatch. The next question. Why security value cannot be more than what is the logic? So they are if that would not be put control now, then in that case, it can be any amount now. It can be any amount. So if they are asking the bond value of that much of the amount, the security, because it would be certain cost to the taxpayer. ठीक है. So पूरे amount के security लेके भी कोई मतलब नहीं है ना. So they like to protect in this manner. They like to keep the upper cap. Otherwise, it can be that there's a probability to misuse. As according to me. Okay. So now suppose if the reply has not been given, if the I'm talking about scrutiny of return, either he has not given the reply or reply is not satisfactory, then officer can take 4 action. Anyone out of the 4 action, he can take any action. Please tell me what are the possible action to be taken by the officer if he is not satisfied with the reply or no corrective action taken by the taxpayer. I'm talking about section 61, scrutiny of return. If the reply is not satisfactory, no reply has been given, in that case, the officer can take following action. Please tell me what are the action can be taken by the officer in such situations? Correct, correct. Audit under section 65, special audit under section 66, search seizure inspection 67, or determination of the tax interest penalty under section 73 or 74. Absolutely correct. We are moving to the section 62, assessment of the non-filer of the return. First tell me which return not furnished by the SSE, then assessment can be initiated under section 62. कौन से वो रिटर्न है जो फर्निश नहीं किए तो ऑफिसर के पास पावर है 62 में असेसमेंट करने का? No problem, yes, sure. We'll complete the session. I would request kindly allow me to take 10 more minutes to ask the question answer. ठीक है. बिल्कुल ठीक है, absolutely correct. It can be written under section 39 or it can be the written under section 45. Please tell me what is the time limit to do the assessment? What is the time limit to do the assessment order? So there is a upper cap, there is a time limit to do the assessment. What is the time limit? क्या बात है अंकुर, आपका नाम मैंने पहली बार देखा है अभी, आज पूरे ड्यूरेशन में पहली बार आपने रिप्लाई किया. एवरीथिंग इज ओके ना? और यू जॉइन जस्ट नाउ? Now, only 5 years is not satisfactory answer. Only 5 years is not satisfactory answer. 5 years from which date? From the end of the financial year, from the end of the monthly return, from the end of the quarterly return. Which the 5 year to be counted from which date, that you have to also support. That you have to give. 5 साल का date to be counted from which date? Five years from the due date of section 44, that is annual return. Thank you so much. Next question. So we have discussed one standard operating process given in the circular 129. So they are saying before the due date, they will send the message. Then give me the answer. After due date is over, will they send notice immediately or not? Once the due date is over, no problem, Ankur. Thank you, Viraj. Welcome back to the forum. Welcome back to the forum. Great. I hope you are enjoying now. This Q&A session you are enjoying. I hope. This is highest important point or highest important area, which might be you are, I think you all are accepting the same. Now my point is, we are talking about section 62 का returns, ठीक है? So we are talking about the SOP. So this once the due date is over, will the notice will be, and the notice under section 46 will be immediately issued or certain gap? कुछ gap या immediately? कौशिकी, नोटिस का सेक्शन 46 है, 47 में लेट फीस लगती है. Correct. Once the due date is over, they will wait for 5 days. Meanwhile, they will send the messages to all partner, proprietor, karta, whatever the message and mail. And after the completion of 5 days, still the return is not being furnished, they will issue the notice under section 41 GSTR 3A. Once the notice is being issued, if the return is being filed within how many days, then it will be deemed to be withdrawn. If the notice has been issued, then return being filed within how many days, then it will be deemed to be withdrawn. Correct. The answer is 15 days. 15 days. Now, if the return is not being furnished, Viraj, my question was that first question, will the section 46 notice, that is GSTR 3, say suppose today is the last date to file the return on 20, whether GSTR 3 would be issued on 21st or there would be some gap? The answer was that after 5 days from the due date of annual return, they will issue the notice. Second question, that after the notice is being issued, then if I have furnished the return within how many days, then the notice would be deemed to be withdrawn. Then answer would be 15 days. Is it clear? Is that clear? Now the next question, suppose the 15 days has also been expired and no return is being furnished, then they will issue the what? What they will issue? What they will issue? What they will issue if the time limit is being 15 days is being expired and no return has been furnished, then what action to be taken by the officer? Officer क्या action लेंगे? Absolutely correct. They will issue the best judgment assessment ASMT 13 and also they will issue the summary in DRC 07. Can you please tell me, after the assessment order, best judgment assessment order, return is being furnished within how many days, then it will be deemed to be withdrawn. That assessment would be deemed to be withdrawn. Assessment order would be deemed to be withdrawn. Annual return concept is unclear. Sir, can assess selective. विराज, आपका क्वेश्चन मतलब इस चैप्टर से रिलेटेड है? इज इट रिलेटेड टू दिस चैप्टर और इट इज ए मींस अदरवाइज ए नॉर्मल क्वेश्चन? इज इट रिलेटेड टू दिस चैप्टर? Answer to the earlier question, the 30 days, if the time limit is 30 days, if after issuing the assessment order, return is being furnished within 30 days, then it will be deemed to be withdrawn. So tell me one more thing, that for issuing the best judgment assessment order, what are the things to be taken into account while passing the BJA, best judgment assessment order, by the officer? What are the things he will take into account? विराज, मैं आंसर करता हूं. Allow me 5-10 minutes. After that, I will answer this question. My question is that while passing the best judgment assessment order, so what are the things to be taken into account by the officer? Multiple things. GSTR1, GSTR. The answer is GSTR1, GSTR3B, inward statement like GSTR2A, 2B, or it can be the like section 71 also, access to the inspection, search, seizure, कोई भी inspection क्या उससे information है. So he will gather all the material and evidence, and then based on that he will issue the judgment order, best judgment assessment order. EV will also. Now I'm moving to the assessment of unregistered person. So we have talked about two situations in which section 63 can be invoked by the officer, that he can do the assessment of unregistered person. There are the two situations. Can you please help me in identifying two situations? There are two situations in the Section 32, in which the officer can initiate the assessment of unregistered person. What are the two situations covered in section 63? Okay. Sorry. No problem, Viraj. Thoda sa, because we have to take care of the time also. That is the point. Yes, absolutely correct. If he were liable to be registered but failed to obtain the registration. Second, registration has been cancelled by the proper officer, but still he was liable to pay the taxes. These are the two situations in which section 63 can be invoked. Section 64, which talks about the fast track assessment. Can you please tell me what is the prior sanction needs the prior sanction of the officer not below the rank of which grade? So to initiate the assessment under section 64, that is fast track assessment, the officer needs the prior permission of which? Prior permission of which officer? Additional commissioner or joint commissioner. See, point to be noted, never probably you are making the notes or something, never write AC, because might be you can write AC as an assistant commissioner also, or can be additional commissioner. So it will be advisable whenever you are writing AC, write AD in A capital and D short and then C. So it will always be remembered that this AC means additional commissioner. Okay, not the assistant commissioner. Always remember, because assistant commissioner would have the lower category, lower rank, and additional commissioner would be much higher rank. Okay. GST audit under section 65. They will issue the notice and give some time limit before starting the audit. What is the time limit? And it is working days or only days? Is it working days or only days? Please upload that document. Which document? So normally, normal MCQ, apart from this, I cannot upload every question which I'm asking, because I'm almost revising entire chapter. I almost revising entire chapter to all of you. इतना तो नहीं लिख सकते, इतने MCQ नहीं, but yes, I have already given MCQ. It will be uploaded in a day or two for the first two chapter, and this I will prepare tomorrow MCQ, and it will be uploaded on your login. The 15 working days, absolutely correct. The time limit to start the audit, they will give the 15 working days. Then once the audit is being commenced, they have to complete the audit within how many days? Once the audit would be started, they have to complete the audit within how many days? Audit has to be finalized within how many days? Any extension? Please tell me the extension also. Absolutely correct. Very right, Ankur, and correct, Kaushiki. The right answer is 3 months, which can be further extended not more than 6 months by the commissioner. Absolutely correct. My next question, special audit, section 66 audit can be initiated the audit under section 66. Who will do the audit under section 66? The officer or the professional like chartered accountant, cost accountant? The audit under section 66 would be conducted by the GST department officers, or by the professional like chartered accountant, cost accountant. Impaneled professional. Absolutely correct. Very nice word. Very nice reply. Impaneled professionals. Correct. So let me read one point. If the officer not below the rank of the assistant commissioner is of the opinion, then he can initiate the special audit. There are 2 points. If the officer not below the rank of assistant commissioner is of the opinion, either 1 point or 2nd point, then he can initiate the special audit. A special audit would be initiated under section 66 in 2 situations. With the prior permission of commissioner, the officer not below the rank of the assistant commissioner is of the opinion that 2 point. There are 2 points. Please read, please see the material, then try to give the answer. These are the 2 important points for special audit. Any question comes in the special audit, these 2 words are important. Yes, the value is not declared correctly or the credit is not within the normal limit. What is the time limit to complete the special audit? Normal time limit and extensions. Normal time limit and extensions. This is my last question, and by this I have completed the revision of the chapter 17 assessment and audit. What is the time limit to complete this audit and what is the extension which is available? Please confirm. Viraj, are you there? Viraj Desai, are you there? Answer is 90 plus 90 days. 90 normal time limit further can be extended by another 90 days. Absolutely correct. Viraj, are you there? So that I can answer to your question. No problem. I think he's not there. He has asked the question. What is the question? Annual return concept is unclear. Sir, can SSC rectify the mistake in R1 and 3B? The short answer I'm telling right now, Viraj. Okay. The first, can he rectify the mistake in R1 and 3B? Answer would be yes. Only R1 and 3B he can rectify the mistake. You are using the word rectify. Yes, R1 and 3B is the main return in which the rectification can be done. The annual return is basically the compiling the annual returns. Plus, if some tax liability which is to be paid not paid by the taxpayer, then he can report in the 9 also. But rectification would be made through GST R1 and 3B. If you refer section 37, it talk about the rectification to be done by a certain time period. You can go and refer the section 37, subsection 3, which talk about the rectification to be done in the R1 or in the GST R3B within the specified time period. So the answer would be yes. Is it clear? Or any counter question you can ask? Any counter question you can ask? Any other question? Anyone have any question? Kindly ask. Kaushik, GSTR 9C, earlier it was certified by the professional. Now it is being self-certified. So it is not a audit at all by the professional or by a department. It is not the audit. Now there are 2 audit left, section 65 and section 66. That is, now it is being a part of return, which is to be self-certified by the taxpayer himself, by the registered person himself. Okay. Thank you very much. Good night to all of you. Ashok ji, you can conclude the session.